welcome to another episode of Co-Star with myself, Maisha, and Sandra.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to get into Ethic 3. And we may get into Ethic 4 as well because they're right back to back. Ethic 3, Sandra. This was one of those books where um you saw Morgan become emotional throughout the book. And some of the stuff, I'm just like, I was over it. Oh my God.
Well,
Um,
want to start at the beginning? Because I think does the book open
yes.
with Morgan or Ethic? I think the book
Yes.
opens with Ethic and Cream.
Oh yeah.
Does it? Yeah.
Cream had to go bye-bye. Cream
Yeah.
lasted one whole book. One whole book.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Because we saw him at the end of book one for like 3 seconds, and then
Hmm.
throughout book two and on book three on his way up out of here. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know this is Ethic book, and so therefore we gotta be cheering for Ethic or whatever. But we already said before, Cream to me was not wrong. To me, he was
Mm-mm.
not wrong. So
Mm-mm.
I he did have to go. And
He went out with a
I do at
hang.
least wish he would have pinched Ethic like something. I wish he would have. Ultimately, he did end up taking love away. So I guess I guess that's I
That
don't know if
was
that's
Cream's
equal.
prize.
I don't
Uh,
think that I don't know if that was equal, but I mean I guess it was a kid for a kid. I hate it because even though at the time Alani was contemplating giving love up for adoption, I don't know. I don't feel in my heart like I'm not convinced that she would have stuck with that decision if she would have carried that pregnancy to term. I don't know.
mhm.
And so to me that's just another loss for her. So it wasn't an eye for an eye, it was her um losing another baby.
And
Um,
also, um, it got to a point where I'm like, Jesus, I mean, this lady has just been through hell, and all her hell came from Ethic.
literally.
I do think that some stories have happy endings. However, I just feel like Alani was dragged through the ringer. So to me, any hell she raised, any indecisiveness she has, is well warranted. This man
Oh,
literally
Buster. And
took
not to
away
the
half
point
her
of killing.
bloodline.
Yeah,
Took away half her bloodline. Took away the only sibling she had. Whether
and
he
he
been wrong
was
or right,
raggedy.
he
He
was
was
still taking.
raggedy.
Yeah, he was raggedy, but
Yeah,
it's still a sibling.
yeah.
Um, Also took away the only two kids she was able to carry. Ethic
Now,
rather
Ethic did not take love away directly. Indirectly,
directly, yeah.
indirectly, because it was a child for a child.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it was both, Alani's children. Um, so after that happens, Ethic goes super cold in the hospital. He can't, which I'm not mad about that because he just found out a baby and lost a baby in 2 seconds. So what can you do? I'm not mad about him and his day long slow kill of Cream. I'm not mad about
Hmm.
that. He walks into the house and he bans Bella. He bans
From
Bella
being
from
around
seeing
Alani.
Alani, and his reasoning was that anything could have happened to Bella. Um, because of the secret she was keeping about the pregnancy. And I did not see how those dots connected. Um,
I, I
I
didn't like I okay, so I didn't like the secret that Alani and Bella kept. That I had a problem with that.
I
As a
didn't care.
parent, I know, but as a parent, I don't like my kids keeping secrets from me. Um, that's like a pet peeve, especially something that big. But I did understand, the mind of a child. She wanted Alani's trust. She didn't want to, give up that bond that her and Alani had,
True.
and that's like really deep for somebody Bella's age to keep a secret like that. Like that's I felt Alani was wrong for even putting that kind of pressure on
I,
Bella.
I
She's
didn't feel
scared.
that way because the truth of the matter is Bella could took her ass back over there with her daddy. If you don't want to keep,
She wanted a mama.
yeah. So if you want to be, with me, I'm not talking to your father. I hate him. He killed my baby. I don't like him. If you want to be
Mm,
with me, um, we're not talking. I'm not discussing this with him. So if you can't, is it a lot to ask? Probably, but I don't. I feel like Ethic would have bulldozed his way into her life if she was carrying his baby, and that's not what she wanted. And at this point, what Alani wants trumps what Ethic wants. So Bella, if you feel like you can't, you know, keep the secret, or was it wrong for her to ask her to keep the secret? Either way, go. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like she had to share that with Ethic. Um, that baby was made under the pretense of love before she understood who he was. Now I'm still keeping this baby because I don't want to kill the baby, but I'm not sharing the pregnancy with you. We're not there. So Bella, if you want to be over here, you have to understand that I'm not sharing this pregnancy with your father. So I
And I can
don't.
get that. Another thing I didn't like is like he's saying I could have protected you. I just felt like if you
What was
knew
stopping
Cream
him?
was beating on, yeah, if you knew Cream was beating on her and you knew, the kind of threat he was to Alani, I didn't understand why she wasn't protected anyway,
That's the that,
especially being that Bella was around there all the time.
and not only that,
There should have been eyes on her.
yeah, and not only that, Ethic, you knew that Bella came up with that lie, and that is why Cream is in prison or jail. I didn't hear about no trial. Cream is
Mm,
in jail. You knew that he was
mm,
in
he
jail
was
based on a lie
arrested.
that Bella told. If you knew that that was a lie, and you knew it was a chance that that wasn't gonna stick, you supposed to be Ethic. You supposed to be in charge of the city. How come you wasn't keeping eyes on the case? How come you didn't know that Cream had got out? Regardless, that was the dumbest statement he made to me. Like, the reasoning behind it didn't make sense. You can't be around Alani because anything could have happened to you when you were over there, and you didn't tell me about the pregnancy. Regardless of if Alani was pregnant or not pregnant, Cream should have never got past your radar. So are you Ethic or are
Yeah.
you not Ethic? Are you him or are you not him? Like, let me know.
It's
I'm
sometimes I feel like
confused.
his power is an illusion, you know,
Yeah,
in these books.
because
And the reason
how can
being
Cream get past you?
too much stuff slips by him. And yeah, I think the power is an illusion. Another thing, you know, as the book goes on, here goes Messiah and Morgan, and of course, the first couple of years ago when I read it, when it was first coming out, I loved their dynamic. Um,
Same.
Reading it as someone who's much older now, I I can't I can't get behind it, and the reason I can't is it's too much. You have two broken people, and I always feel in my life two totally broken people like that refuse to get help, that refuse to acknowledge their brokenness
Yeah.
should not be together. And every time they're around each other, it's like and I hear her say things like, I can bring out Messiah's rage and or I can yank his leash and he's a good boy again. And I'm actually troubled by that now, that
Yeah.
statement. I'm
Does.
troubled by it. We saw it when he was, beating down Cream and in book two, and everybody's trying to get Messiah to calm down, and nobody can do it. And here go Morgan just called his name in this, and it's a disaster waiting to happen. And we see it peak. It peaks through the covers in book three when Messiah just out the blue tells her, "Fuck your dad," and I'm like,
Where did
what?
that come from?
Where did that come
Because
from?
where did that come from? Because you were just talking about how you had to chop it up with Ethic, not even on some you and Mo type stuff. You had to chop it up with Ethic about other things, and now all of a sudden it's fuck Ethic, and it's just like, where did that come from? Very confusing. Very confusing.
Very, very confusing, and the fact that he didn't think that that statement was a big statement, that kind of bothered me. It's like Morgan is a porcelain doll. She's very, 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 very fragile. And if he didn't know that about her by that moment, I don't feel like there was any hope for them to carry on, because Morgan has to be. And I remember she made a comment like she likes the fact that Messiah doesn't handle her as if she's fragile. But that's the problem that y'all had,
She is
is that he
fragile.
didn't handle you like you were fragile. Morgan was one of the few people in this series that did not understand who the type of men she went after, and the type of man she was raised by. I feel like Morgan, even though she knew what Ethic was about, what Messiah was about, she still was acting so sheltered. It was like every little
But
thing.
remember in book one we talked about that. I thought you thought that she wasn't sheltered. Because remember we were talking about that in book one. How I was like, I think that come from two different worlds. Like I do think that Morgan benefits from, what Morgan and Messiah do financially. She benefits. It allows her to live the softest life ever. But I don't
Mhm,
think that she could survive in that world. She's not
absolutely.
enough.
And it, you saw instances where the parent dies, and the kids take over, whatever they had going on. um if something happened to Ethic, and granted he wouldn't want Morgan to take on that role, but I don't see how she could ever be a parent to Easy or Bella, or be a leader in that they need to be in their lives. I just felt like if something happened to Ethic, the whole ship sinks.
Well,
Morgan
yeah, of
just
course.
didn't have the mental capacity to me to be a leader. And we see that, in book three, is like she's still huffing and puffing, not blowing any houses down. And I think I just got to a point where I'm like, here's Morgan again. And book three, the scene at the school, after he said that, fuck you to your dad, or and then the scene at the school, I'm just like, I didn't understand how that emotion, her being that emotional, tied into the story. It was one of them things where I just wanted to slap across the cheeks and say, "Girl, wake up or get over it," because yeah, I think it was more
Well,
more emphasis on that she was hurt than what actually occurred. I think if there was a bigger focus on what actually occurred in the moment, I think she should have confronted Messiah about him even making that statement. I think that she was too forgiving, too easily. I'd rather have the man than check him about him disrespecting my dad. I think that's what really had me kind of confused, because she
well, this is
would
her first
rather have the
relationship.
man.
She's 18. I mean, but I mean, grown women today rather still have a
Mm,
man, even at, even at
yeah.
45, even at 50, even at 60, they rather still have the man. What they be saying in that little, it's better to have him till
My
you're
man,
60.
my man, my
Oh,
man, my man,
or
my man, my
whatever.
man.
So she's only 18, and this is her first real relationship. So I don't really fault her for not knowing how to navigate it. That's something you learn over time, and that's also something you learn through guidance of a
Hmm.
parent and a mother specifically, or just a female figure. And she does not have one. She doesn't. She did for a time. I guess you could say a raven was something. I don't know how much knowledge she could give
I
anybody. She had none herself, but she did have Raven and her mother, another bird brain bitch, for a time, but um they didn't, they weren't able to navigate and help her walk through that part of growing up, that is understanding what your worth really is. People say, know your worth or understand your worth. And I think it's not the princess treatment. It's not the, oh, she's a queen. It's not the porcelain, or the illusion of what she is. Um, her worth is internal, and she hasn't established that yet. So for her to not know how to handle Messiah, who is also Messiah's grown, he's 25. For her not to know how, even though
26,
God
isn't he?
knows he don't act like it, uh, but he's 25, and so for her not to be able to handle him, like that, that's not super surprising.
Too far for, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. My issue with Morgan and Messiah wasn't the love that they have for each other. It was it was more of a, I feel like, uh I pulled her, and in her mind she pulled him. Um the dynamic the dynamic as I'm reading it again, and
it's not much to the relationship,
it's not
and
much
by
to their
much, that
relationship.
there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
It's a
That's the
whole lot
issue.
of want. It's a whole lot of want and need. There, I want him, I need him, and I want her and I need her, but neither one of them are building each other up. The excuse they use, that she makes us feel young again. She's young.
She's young.
She's gonna do
Any
things
18-year-old can
that
make you young. They're
young
young.
people do.
Yeah,
And
they're young.
right now, I'm actually, again, years ago that statement meant something to me, but now that I'm, you know in this state I'm in now, it's like, if if a teenager is what you need in your life to make you feel young again, then
But also, what does that mean? Because you're no longer a teenager. You could be young at heart, but you shouldn't. What is it that he's trying? What they're trying to recapture with that young feeling? Like, I don't
it's
she
like
makes
they
you feel
missed
young.
it. From what I see, is that they missed their childhood. They
Yeah,
missed their childhood because you were burdened with the task of having to fend for yourself, having to make your own
yeah,
money, having to establish yourself in a place of lawlessness, as ruthless.
yeah.
And by doing that, of course, you're gonna miss your childhood. If at 16 you on the block, you're gonna miss the childhood. And I don't think that Morgan should have been responsible for having you relive your childhood days, or relive those days where you should have been at college parties, or you
Yeah.
should have been chasing college girls, but instead you were chasing,
Money,
the
status, the
and
ranks.
that's it.
So
Gucci outfits,
yeah.
Jordans,
So yeah.
um and again, I think the excitement of it all is what made us love that Messiah's and Morgan relationship,
I
the
want to go on
excitement
record and
of it
say
all.
I never loved it. I never, I
I think it
never
was
even
with me, it
liked
was the
it.
excitement of all. I just felt like when I first read it, and I still feel like this, their love was organic. It wasn't forced. It was like, we were forced to be around each other. And I think forced would be a bad term. But they were around each other, always in each other's proximity. He was her protector, and things happen. And I can understand that. But um reading it now in its entirety, it's like I just felt that Morgan was looking for the ethic. Like her sister had ethic, I can't have ethic, so let me get his understudy, let me get his protege. And I think that was the excitement that Morgan had with Messiah. She was getting another version of ethic, because when you look at it, the how mean ethic was to Raven is exactly how mean Messiah was to Morgan. To me, they're
When?
in Off to the Flame.
No, I'm talking about when. When do you think that Messiah was mean to Morgan?
Um, I'm going to say like before they got together, when
I don't
he
think
would
it
come
was
get
mean.
her
I
and
think
not
it's like this
playing.
is not a bridge I'm willing to cross. I don't.
But
This is not.
that's what ethic exactly. And it's like
Yeah, but it
sometimes
was
you
not.
gotta be.
They were.
I
They were.
felt it
He
was
was.
mean.
I don't think he was mean. She's not entitled to him as a person. Raven is not entitled to ethic as a person. Like I feel like mean is like intentionally hurtful or intentionally like trying to stump all over their pride or humiliate them or things like or do things that would.
I don't think he
Now he
tried to
was mean with
humiliate
that
him.
niche thing that was mean. um but I think outside of that I don't think that I would think he was mean.
It's like Messiah would do. And when I say me, another thing stern with her, it was like, yeah, I don't want to be with you. No, I don't have to explain. I'm gonna holler at you, shorty. And that was his dismissal in book two. And then in book three, um, you know, they're back together, but here he is again making asinine comments, or
I
and
mean, well, that's
things like that.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
Messiah.
like I said, I want to go on record. I never, and I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I've always read this book series straight through. I didn't read it as it came out, but I never was on board with this Messiah and Morgan relationship. I wasn't. But we're talking about what happened at school, and how Messiah ended up storming off. In the process, Morgan's finger got injured. Um, got injured. He
This
did not
is
injure it. It
this
got
this
injured.
is my thing. This is my and I for the life of me, I don't understand what Morgan didn't understand about this thing with Bash. Um, if you have someone, and they keep saying she's young, she's young, she's young. If you have someone who your boyfriend saw basically kiss on you
Yeah.
just a month before, he know that he tried to pursue you, him walking you out to your car and then kissing you again, um and your boyfriend happens to see it. How don't you expect him to I know as a woman, if I had saw that, I would have hopped I would have hopped out my car on that too, because I don't understand how they didn't
Yeah.
understand that Messiah had the right to be mad. I just he had the right to be mad.
Yeah, no, I could see how he would be upset about that. Yeah, I think he did not injure her finger. Her finger got injured, but in a panic, she realizes that she needs somebody to talk to about this, and she reaches out to Blue. So Blue
He's
Montclair,
gonna leave me. I'm just like, oh my
Blue
god.
Montclair is back into the book. Um, we haven't seen a lot of Blue in this series. It's not about her, and she goes to talk to Morgan and talk her off the ledge. And tells her, you know, hey, I think it's a good time for you to um, focus on yourself. You're a college freshman. These are supposed to be your formative years. And I say this with experience because if you did read the Lux series, you understand that Blue did get caught up in
A
lifestyle
man.
with an older man.
Hmm.
Um, that when she was 18, I think in mine was also like 25 or 26. So it was the
Hmm.
same dynamic, caught up with an older man that was too fast for what she was ready for in her 18 years. Um, and so she told her, you know, hey, focus on yourself, delve into school, immerse yourself into the environment, get to know who you are for the first time on your own. Um, I had somebody who was like that. It led me down a dark path. It took me
Hmm.
years to recover from addiction. I'm still recovering from addiction. What did you feel about Blue's interaction with Morgan in that moment?
I liked it. I thought that was great advice.
I did too.
I feel like people overlooked that 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 talk. And I think that that talk should have meant more to Morgan than it did. But
I think
she couldn't understand it. I think that as a character, Blue was literally the most where you would literally see somebody, she hit rock bottom. She literally hit rock bottom, and she made it so she never hit rock bottom again.
yeah,
She got when and got her degree. She finished school. She raised Savior. She was a big like a role model to the crew. She cooked for them. She, they met at Blue's house. She was their, their glue
home
kind
base.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
home.
That was their homegirl. And I just feel like Blue, if nobody knew anything else, Blue gave the best advice to Morgan. Every time Blue says something to Morgan, and people can say what they want, Blue had a point every time. Whether
I
you feel she was out of line, whether Blue always had a point with Morgan because she's been there. And I think that another thing, Blue has the age and experience that Morgan didn't.
yeah.
Now, and I feel like if somebody had talked to Blue the way she talked to Morgan, Blue would more than likely have made better decisions. Blue was
Oh, for
around the
sure.
wrong people, so was Morgan. Blue Blue was in love with the other, so was Morgan. And she's telling you in so many words, baby, run. She wanted you
Run.
to run.
Yeah.
And
Run.
Morgan
Leave
didn't
this
take
man
heed
alone.
to it.
He don't mean you no good. He
Leave him
don't know it, but he
alone.
don't mean you no good.
Hmm.
um, I agree with that. I think Blue is one of the most well written and developed characters.
She was.
In all of the Ashley and Jaquavis books that I've read, I feel Blue is the probably one of the more developed characters. She has a clear arc. Um, I love that because Blue is when from Lux is very closed off. She didn't make friends much as a child. She had one friend, one friend, her best friend that she lost, and then she picked up a new group of friends at college. Them people didn't mean her
No
no
good.
good, no good.
And a lot of times people try and dim your light. I just
Yeah,
think that Blue is very likable. Blue is very
yeah,
down to earth. Blue is very smart. Blue
and
was,
pretty,
and if you know
and
exactly, she's
yeah,
beautiful. And Blue never saw herself as being any of that.
No.
And I think that that had a lot to do with her upbringings, the way
Yeah.
her mother was, the way her father was. She witnessed her father getting gunned down at an early
Yeah.
age. And then she witnessed her mother's downward spiral. So Blue raised herself with the help of Iman and his mother. Um, and I think that her moving
Noah.
to
Yeah. Noah.
LA,
Mother. Yeah. You
yeah.
said Iman. I said Iman ain't never did
Oh,
nothing good for
sorry,
nobody.
Jesus. I'm
Ugh.
sorry. Noah's
You know
mother.
I hate
Oh my
him.
jeez.
Ugh.
Yeah. I think
He ain't never did nothing good.
I think that Blue, if you would open and read her story with an open heart and not a lot of the hate that I see, you will realize that Blue is a survivor. Blue
Yeah. No.
survived
I
through the
actually
pits of
I
hell.
Yeah, I really loved Lux. I think it was one of, I read a lot of books like you. I read a lot of books, but it's one of the better series that I've ever read. I did
Hmm.
really love Lux, but I liked the advice that she gave. I was surprised, after reading Lux, that Blue would open up enough to anybody to give that advice, because
Yeah.
she is a closed off person. So I liked seeing that, because I'm like, oh, that's growth for her, you know to even share that and try to help someone else. Um, so I was okay with that. Um, she gave Morgan her number and said they, could be friends and hang out. And I think
I
that's the
think in
last
that
time.
moment she was trying to save Morgan from Morgan.
And from
If that makes sense. N- Morgan from Morgan. Morgan continued, and we'll go on with this. I wanna talk about, the Bella's ball.
yeah,
Um Alani, we know what happened at Love funeral. Alani and Morgan, sorry, Alani and Ethic had a, you know, big disagreement, which I felt that both of them were too stubborn to address. She was mad at him, he was mad at her. But Alani didn't realize that burying Love next to her daughter and Lucas would trigger, not trigger, but it
trigger
it it would trigger Ethic. And she didn't
guilt.
take
It
that into
triggered his
account.
guilt.
Exactly. She just wanted the siblings to be next to each other,
And do you
which
think
I
he should have
felt
taken that into account?
no, no.
Those
I'm
are her
sorry.
kids.
Mhm.
What do you
And
mean she can't bury
she
her
wanted her
kids with
kids buried
her?
next to each other. I mean, as a mother, I would never fault her for that. Why would you want siblings buried? You know, that was
Yeah.
one of them things. Like he just had to get over it. Um, so she thought that he never came to the ceremony. He actually was in the car. He was there until it was over and he buried Love. That was one of the things that I understood Alani on. But after that, you have the debutante ball. Um, at the ball, she shows up for Bella, and I think that people, from the church, they realized, Bella didn't have a mother, and Alani lost her daughter and her son. So it was, one of them things where people was just like, everybody was in tears seeing their connection at the debutante ball. But then Morgan is Morgan, and she doesn't see it like that. This is my problem with Morgan. Morgan has been selfish since page one, book one of the Ethics series. I
True.
just felt that if if Morgan had a problem with Alani being in Bella's life, then she should have made a better attempt to be in Bella's life. She didn't come to the practices. She wasn't there for Bella. It was to the point where Sister Mary Clarence could have walked Bella down that aisle and Morgan wouldn't have made no
It don't matter.
never mind to her because she had better things to do, like Messiah, than be there for her little sister. And that's where
Now
me and
how old is she at?
Morgan.
Now I can honestly say, at 18, I would have been there for my sister's
Mm-hmm.
event. I can honestly say that. At 18, I would have been there for my sister's event. But again, I was not raised to be a spoiled, self-centered brat. Um, they knock heads off over here for that. They
Mm-hmm.
don't play like that. So I would not have been the type of person that Morgan is. But what I can say about Morgan is she is exactly who they have raised her to be.
She is.
She is exactly who her
She got it
parents
honest.
and Raven and Ethic have raised her to be. You did not teach her to be selfless. You did not teach her to be caring. You did not teach her to put anybody else's happiness and gratification above
Be
hers.
first. Mm-hmm.
You didn't even teach her to make herself someone else's equal. And so she's exactly who um, you have raised her to be. And here she is in a moment that is purely about Bella. This moment is purely about Bella. If you could not get on board with that, you should take your ass home, or you didn't even have to show up. When you walked in and you saw that Bella and Alani was together, and they, of course they're going to sit at the table together. That's her mentor. So when you saw that they were together, and if you couldn't deal with that, take your ass home and get out of here. You ruin it. You're ruining an event that's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
But because she's who they've raised her to be, she can't see that no event, any event, any moment of the day wouldn't be about her. And that was very disappointing because at this point in her life, I think with all that has happened from books 1 to 3, I feel like you should have been learning something. You should have been learning something. And you've learned
It's too
absolutely
much to
nothing.
ask. It's
But
too
yeah, I
much to
did
ask.
think I thought the ball was beautiful. I thought her showing up for Bella um was incredible. She never let her feelings for Ethic or what was going on with them interfere with her showing up for Bella. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that was amazing. Um I think her sacrificing her comfort to dance with Ethic, um that was more than anybody could ask for, more than I would have ever been willing to do. So look at her.
And that was another thing. I felt like if that was Bella's night, um I felt like Ethics should have waited to um make whatever him and Alani had, whatever they had, I felt he should have waited for their moment. Um I wanted the night to be solely about Bella and Alani. And I feel like in this series, it's like every time Bella had moments, somebody ruined it.
Or she
You
had
know,
to
or
share.
somebody made it about, yeah,
Yeah.
she had to share her moment.
But Alani
And
too. So that's why they get together. They understand each other so well. They can never have nothing for themselves.
no, no.
Yeah.
And the ball was beautiful. But Morgan being Morgan, she said things, and I like the way Ethic checked her, and he said everybody at this table is important to Bella. And that kind of that set Messiah apart from anybody else that Bella would think of him to have him there. I thought that was something that was
Oh, did she
overlooked.
invite him? I guess she did. Yeah.
She did. Messiah had a place at Bella's table. That right there lets you know that Messiah was on a
Part
level
family.
that he was part family.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I did not understand, how Messiah didn't see that was his family too.
Girl, I told you Messiah's slow. He belonged on that short bus.
That was
He
his
needed a
family
helmet
too.
to walk around. You can say a lot of things about Messiah. You can say he's fine. You can say he's
Gangster.
audacious. You can say he's gangster. You cannot say he's smart. You could never call him that. You could never. You
um
could call him a lot of things. You could never say he was smart. Mm-mm.
mhm. So Bella, Bella's ball. Um it had to be interrupted by something. We had two interruptions. We got Ethic, he haven't saw Lonnie in weeks. This right here is when he realized it's not enough. I gotta,
That's
get
why
with
it took me
Alani.
so
I gotta
long
make
because
things
it was
right
like
with Alani.
I might never see her again. If she get out that
Yes.
door without me, I might never see her again. He was right. That was
So
her.
you had to
That was her
chase
big
her.
mistake.
And you had to chase her, and then M- Morgan and Messiah, they little moment in the church kitchen or whatever they was, the pantry.
Now, you know me. I'm be honest, guys. If you don't know this, I don't read books for the sex. I read books for the plots. So I mean, I guess people like that scene. It was a hot scene or whatever, and it was. But you know me, I'm not. I'm that Messiah and Morgan. I'm not. I'm not seeing the deep connection with them yet. So I'm not. That I see a lot of sex, a lot of sex, and I can skim through sex scenes. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the plot. I'm here for the story and development. I didn't read that. Was it good? I didn't really read that in depthly.
It was good. It
Okay.
was good. Um, the, oh my gosh. Then listen, when they left and they went to the hotel, but I'm talking about Ethic and Alani.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I f- I just felt like it was the right scene, but it was the wrong time. I wanted Bella to have a few more moments alone with Alani, and
Yeah.
she couldn't because she had the devil, which is Morgan, on the left hand side of her, and the devil, which is Ethic, on the right hand side of her, literally pulling Alani. And Alani's already uncomfortable being around Morgan, and Morgan makes it known, like, here you go with your rude comments. You make it known that you don't like Alani when that woman has done nothing to you. Nothing.
No, but I don't think anybody thinks it's a stretch for her to feel
Absolutely not. You don't. She's
animosity with
allowed
somebody.
to feel
Yeah.
animosity. However, you chose not to be your
Yes.
your there
You
for your
literally you didn't
sister.
step up.
Never come to practice. You
Yeah,
didn't
you didn't
step
step up.
up. So that right there is where I felt you had the audacity.
Yeah.
You had
I,
audacity that you shouldn't have.
I agree with that.
That was my problem with Morgan. Morgan didn't know how to read the room ever. She didn't know. Everything was, oh, it's not a. I mean, who did you expect to escort Bella
Yeah. She didn't
if
think
you
about
didn't
that
do
because
it?
her thoughts, she didn't think about nothing but Messiah. Morgan is dick dizzy. She is she has replaced her brain. You know how they be
With
talking
her
about
vagina?
the wrong head for men? She got the wrong head.
Yeah.
She worried about she's dick dizzy.
Mm,
She can't think about anything that's not attached to Messiah right now. Not clearly. And so, but let's talk about what I did like. Would I like to see more Alana and Bella? I would have. I think that would have been beautiful. But I did.
mm,
To me, I felt like Ethic owed Alani an explanation on some of what has made him into what he is, and
yeah.
he owed her insight into himself that he hadn't given anybody else, because at this point he's taken so much away from her. He's taken so much away from her, and she needs to understand um how he even got to be this person. And so what I did like about that night at the hotel is I that we saw a very vulnerable Ethic in a way that I haven't seen him. Well, I haven't seen him so far, to explain to him what happened to him as a child, with his mother and his father, and the abandonment and the drug use and the abuse that he suffered, because of what she had done. I think that was probably one of. Then I felt the connection deepen. Like I felt the connection between Ethic and Alani before, but I feel like a lot of it was like surface level, and like um they had chemistry, but it was like more sexual chemistry. But I feel like that helped them connect on more of a I know you now type of level. Like I understand who you are now
And
better.
both of them had abandonment issues. Both of
They
them,
did.
um, came from families that I call them book families. It's like everybody in books have the same type of family,
Raggedy.
like
Raggedy.
raggedy, horrible things that they looked at their children in ways where you're like, why even
Yeah.
become a
Why did you even
parent
have
if
a kid? If this is how you're gonna
yeah,
treat them, why did you should have went ahead and had an abortion.
yeah. I wouldn't mind. That's one thing I wouldn't mind. I always felt like kids should be raised with love, and somebody has to care. And
Alani did have someone who cared with her aunt. Ethic did
it
not.
seems like, when I was looking at it, things like her father cared, but her mother did. When I was, that's another book. It seemed like her father cared. He just he wasn't a constant in her life. Um,
So after that night of a deep sharing, and they reconnected physically, but more than anything, they connected emotionally and spiritually. I was
mhm,
like, Morgan and Messiah, I don't see them bitches ain't growing. They ain't going nowhere. But Alani and Ethic, I'm like, okay, we're opening up. We're stripping away layers. We're getting
mhm.
somewhere. And so I was very happy. Then Alani gets up the next day and she's like, all right, well, that was nice. That was nice. I'm out of here. And Ethic shows up with the kids.
And
And what did
she's
you think
like,
about that?
thick, like,
Yeah, like,
no.
bro, stop trying to shove your kids down my throat, trying to shove this down my throat. We had a nice night. I don't
Hmm.
hate you as much as I used to hate you. But like yesterday I hated you real bad. And today I just hate you real bad. It's not real bad. So we're making progress. Like, get out of my face, leave me alone. But Ethic is persistent. He's persistent. And he shows up and I think they go out to breakfast. And then, later on he shows up. She talked about how she wanted to do some beautification around her neighborhood, around those houses that he got her. And so he shows up with plants and flowers, and he's really, making an effort, trying not to abandon her, because she said that night, everybody leaves because I'm so difficult. Everybody leaves. And he's like, well, I can't leave. I'm not leaving. And I thought that was really, I'm like, okay, they are stripping away the layers. We're getting somewhere with Ethic and Alani. And I really like that. Um, and then Easy invites her to the birthday party. Yeah. What did you think about that?
Easy is one of them kids you just love. He's one of them kids where you give him a video game and you close the door in their room and you gonna hear him yelling through firewalls at whoever he's playing
Yeah.
against. I do like that Easy is such a easygoing child. I do like the fact that, you know, how some kids are embarrassed by things. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
have that many friends, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't have any friends. Do a cartwheel, do a jump, and then running. Like that's what I got from Easy. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't have friends, and to us, we're like, oh my gosh, he don't have friends. But it's like
Yeah.
to him, he's like cartwheel, run, the Spider Man, you know, and he goes about his business.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do feel like um I do feel like Easy, and I'm gonna say this, and this you go, Easy is one of them. I don't have friends, fuck it, type of kids. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that bother him. I think that Easy has
No.
such a personality to where he doesn't understand that, from us we like, oh my god, that's horrible. But it's like Easy gonna get in where he fit in. If I don't have a group of friends, I'm gonna play by myself.
Literally.
um I don't need y'all. whatever, whatever. I think his need for acceptance just wasn't there.
I like that.
But I do feel that he looked at Alani as a mother,
Yeah.
and it's some things that kids will say to you, and you know, as a mother, you'll be like, like, who did it? Like, but it's like he didn't say that to get a reaction out of her. It's just like, I'm just speaking my mind, and then I'm going on to the next. So him asking Alani to come to his party, and then once she got there, he was having the time of his life with limited people.
Her
He was
coming there,
having the time of,
her coming there was enough.
yes, he
So
was having
before
the
we get
time
to
of
the
his
day of the
life.
birthday party, we get revisited by Yaya. Desaya
Mm.
is coming into town, I guess, for Easy's party. I don't know what she's doing there, but she's coming into. I never understood Yaya in Indy. She made her choices, but she never really made her choices. And we find out that once a year, she pretends to be Ezra's woman, and they sleep together. And this is as dumb as shit I've ever heard of. I don't. I feel like if the roles were reversed, but because it's ethic and people love ethics so much, y'all can't see that this is some fuck nigga shit. Baby, what is going on here? Like,
Listen,
I feel like
the
if he was
talk
a
that they
woman, he
had,
could still be getting dragged for this.
well, you know the meme with the cat like, listen,
This woman showed
Ethic
up with
has
the dress.
had Ethic has had his kids around women that he had no future with. He has, the- like you said, if Ethic was had a vagina, she would be dragged from here to I'm in Miami, from Miami to LA. Okay, I
Literally.
have a problem with the way Ethic picks women, the way Ethic has his
Treats women.
kids around, literally between first and foremost, Bella and Ethic, and I'm sorry, Bella and Easy have different mothers. Bella was a product of an affair. Easy mother was a product of, you got this girl pregnant. She didn't want you to know your last name or your real name. You know, um, it's like, ugh,
Ethic is a
God,
bird brain bitch. Y'all don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Ethic is a bird brain bitch, and that's
but
all.
it's,
Now he's
oh
over
my
here with this
God,
married woman. He's over here with this
yes,
married woman and this baby. We don't
Mary
know whose
in real
baby this
time.
is. We don't know whose baby this is.
Okay,
This is a
so
bird brain
let's
bitch.
rewind, because I think we let our personal personal thoughts at the get in the way of what we about to say. I Okay, the talk that Yaya and Ethic had, it was needed. It was necessary. When when she was like, I feel like I'm losing you. Who is she? La la la. And he's telling the story, and then she's like, okay, so what's the issue? And he's like, I killed her daughter, and she's like, oh, Ethic. Like,
Yeah,
literally, that's oh, it's like even Yaya was at a loss of words, like,
yeah.
shit, like, this is not this is not play, like this, bruh. I can't imagine. And I think most of us can't imagine losing a child to a man and then being in love with this man. Like, no.
I know I
And
can't,
I think
but I know
Yaya,
the second the story.
yeah, I think Yaya is the type um of I'm not gonna say comedic relief, but it was damn that close to it.
But some
She
real
was at a loss
bitches
of
like,
words.
anybody gonna speak up about what's going on here? Like literally, it's like okay,
Yaya
you
was
did,
like,
yeah.
what? And
Excuse me, what?
her saying, "Oh, Ethic" was the least of his worries, because it was like, Damn, like ethic, like I'm usually on your side, but baby, just show me what my room is. We can
Literally,
finish
get our
this.
thoughts together.
Yeah, it's it. Even she was surprised by his confession. So okay, no problem. We get that. The next day is the party, right? And Alani shows up. And Ethic is just, he's surprised to see her. He thought he would never see her again. She shows up to celebrate Easy. And I think her issue was this man took away my kids and I keep showing up for his.
That's what
Alani
makes me
is
feel like,
in eternal
yeah,
conflict with that
yeah,
because I don't think she doesn't know how not to love those kids. She doesn't want
no,
to replace hers with them, but she loves his kids and they love her. So we see in real time the conflict that's going on with her loving him, loving her kids, and loving
yeah.
his kids. So at the party, and I remember when I first read it, I'm just like, oh, I'm sick of Alani. But now I'm reading it, I'm like, Maisha, like you gave Alani no grace. She had every right to be indecisive. She had every right to go back and forth. She had every right to have internal conflict because this was some heavy shit.
And I'm
It
gonna one up
wasn't.
you. Not only did she ever have every right, I would have looked at her crazy if she didn't go back and forth.
Yes.
To me, that's not something birth. You've birthed this kid, you've raised this kid, you've sacrificed everything you have and are for this kid. That kid is gone. If you don't grapple with that, if you don't struggle with that every day, being around a man and his kids, you're around his kids, loving his kids, your kid is gone. If you're not struggling with that, I'm gonna think you strange. I am. I'm thinking something wrong with you. So
Mhm.
when I see people say, "Oh, Alani, she shot him, deserved it. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving person." Oh, she back and forth. She hemming and hawing. Okay, every day her kid is dead. Every day. So if she want to be indecisive about that, she's well within her rights. And I think it would be weird not to be indecisive about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Um, when she's at the party, and this is my problem. Yaya is there, and Alani makes a comment that it makes me laugh, but she says, "Who wears a bikini to a kid's party?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's like y'all don't know how to turn off the sexy. It's like, baby, I got it. I'ma flaunt it. It is what
Yeah.
it is. The little
Literally.
5 and 6 year olds just gonna have to see all
They
of
gonna
this.
see me.
It is what it is. But Alani had a problem with Yaya. It was more of a like you here for a kids party, and I think Yaya was there for the wrong. Yaya was there for Ethic.
Literally, she's not here for
She
no
was
party.
trying to slip in the extra room with Ethic. She wasn't there for no damn party. And
Yeah.
that was the difference between Yaya and Alani. Alani was there genuinely for those kids. Yaya could care less. Yaya was there for Ethic. She even
Now,
said, "I
which
felt
is
you needed me."
yeah, which is crazy because, well, not really. Yaya has a father for her children. She doesn't need Ethic to be a father for her children. Yaya has a father for her children. She's married to their father.
Mhm.
Um, this is the dumbest bird brained shit. Ethic is a dumb bitch. But anyway, he is the one without a mother for his children, and it never seemed like Yaya was looking to be the mother for your children.
Mhm.
She was there for to get her back broke. She was there for that. That's what she was there for. So I just, guys, I'm trying to like Ethic. I'm trying. I just, right now he's not giving me a lot to work with. He's not giving me a lot to work with because that married woman walked into your house with a baby that you are not sure that is whether or not is yours, and because of that you are sending her money every month. This has been unresolved. This is completely unresolved. He don't fix nothing in his life. He don't handle
Too
nothing.
many lingering pieces.
He didn't fix. He couldn't keep head around Cream. He couldn't figure out where Cream was. He can't figure out Yaya. He don't know if this baby is his or not. Ethic, are you him or are you not him? I don't know. Because you're supposed to be this larger than life, got it all together, imposing figure. And right now, I see zero things that you got together. You have no things together. Your household is in shambles. Your son eating chicken nuggets every night. No vegetables. Thank God
But you
for
know
Alani and
what?
Bella,
You know
because if
what?
not, Alani would have
TJ
left
was the
Bella
same.
over there.
I listen. I can't even say nothing about that because baby TJ was the same kid. Listen, we had football practice. Then after football season, we got baseball. Basketball. After basketball, we got baseball. So baby, he was a fast food kid literally his whole life because it was just me and him, and he had a crazy palate, and I wasn't trying to satisfy it. It was McDonald's
Now,
nuggets.
but Ethic got a cook. Ethic has a his kids don't have. It's not a he won't he can't have time to do it. He don't have the enough hours in the day. He ain't got no control over them kids. He don't run a tight ship over there. He don't have no program. Forget a strict program. He don't have a program.
Mhm.
So that's apples and orangutans. I don't think that's the same. I don't think, like I said, he ain't got control of them kids. He's sleeping with a married woman. He don't know if this baby is his, and he got an out of control adopted daughter. I think it's like, I don't know. Okay,
I did
I'm tired.
another thing about this scene, this birthday thing again. Ethic invited Alani there for him, and he go. Easy invited
Easy,
Alani there
yeah.
for him, and he go. Ethic. You gotta slither your way into his day. Um, there was a couple of things that I didn't like. I didn't like that Yaya was there for Ethic. She could care less about Easy's party. I think that she shouldn't have been there for the party, especially if Alani said she was dressed the way she dressed, she shouldn't have been there. Um, Number two, Morgan and Messiah. This lady comes, she's invited by the birthday boy. And here you go. Why is she here? Your brother invited her. Your nephew invited her,
Nephew,
or whatever you
yeah,
want, whatever
whatever.
he is on that day. I think that Morgan has a problem with reading the room. I think Morgan has a
He
problem
has
with
to. The room's always been about her.
yeah, I think Morgan has a problem with seeing love come from anybody but her and being given to anybody but her. As long as she's been dotted on and loved on, it's no issue. Um, because and I want to go into no, you don't want to mind. Um, that bothers me. And then Alani and Ethic I think they resolved a lot that night at Easy's party. They got a lot of she got a lot of stuff out of her chest because, like you said, he realized that she still
Well,
needed
we
to
haven't said it
heal.
yet. So what? So after the party, they're saying they're like a little working that got kicked out because Ethics like, listen,
She done
Alani's
stormed out. I gotta
so if you
go.
go in, you go ahead. She's staying.
Mm-hmm,
So it's Alani, Ethic, Easy, and Bella, and it looks like a little cute little family almost.
mm-hmm.
And they're staying there. They're singing happy birthday. She's ordering pizza. They're showering, all together. It looks like the beginnings of a relationship. It's even like, hey, go pay for the pizza guy, grab my wallet, whatever. And in the wallet, she sees Kenzie's picture, which I don't know. She sees Kenzie's picture in the wallet with the rest of his kids, and it seems like they're having a moment. But later on in the night, as things become more heated, he realizes that she's not interacting with him like a person who loves him. She is interacting with him as a person who is still very much so angry with him. And it's then that they decide, or he decides, you need time to heal. I don't want your love if it's covered in anger. And I thought for Ethic, him giving her that space and realizing that and letting her go, I don't have a lot of good things to say about him, but I thought that that was a really big moment for him when he realized that I can't. This is one of this might be the only situation I can't force my way into. I can't bully her into forgiving me. She has to find it within her heart to do it, and if she's meant to forgive me, she'll forgive me. So yeah, I did think that that was a good move.
Yeah, I did as well. Morgan is. I want to get back to Morgan. Morgan, when she leaves, she also she gets in the car with Messiah, and they end up at Alani's house. And for the first time, Alani sees, the violent attack on Morgan. And the first thing she say, even at the debutante ball, she say, Lucas, what did you do? And I think that separating her from Lucas is very necessary. She's not her brother. I think Nair told her she's not her brother.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Um,
But
oh
wait,
yeah,
did you feel like that? I'm not gonna hold you. I thought that that was complete. I could see if we were in a scenario where Alani did not believe Morgan, if Alani was denying what her brother had done, that never happened. What was the point of showing her that video?
I guess she wanted her to see the version of Lucas she met because Alani didn't know that Lucas.
Yeah, but Alani never denied the existence of that Lucas. Like
I get
I
what you're
didn't
saying.
see her. I didn't see any points in the book where she was like, he would have never done that. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You made it up. I never saw any points where she was grappling with believing that Morgan was assaulted, and therefore that's what led to the death of her child. Um, I guess I what was the point of that?
Mm, I get what you're saying. I think it was more of out of anger. Like I want you to know your brother is a monster.
Okay,
Um, you know that
that
was her trump card. Um,
and what did she think that she was gonna get out of Ethic's life now and the kid's life now because she saw that her brother raped
I
her?
don't. You know what? And I
What
didn't.
was the
I don't
point of
know.
it?
But then you leave there and say they've chosen, and I need to create my own family. Morgan had the mental capacity of a 13-year-old, and I'm sorry. I expected Morgan to grow a little more than what she did. And it's like Morgan kept retreating back to that little girl who witnessed her sister being gunned down. Um, and I wish that Ethic would have stuck more to therapy with her with counseling because she has a lot going on.
Yeah,
Um, I will say that my issue with Morgan, I can see if you were there for them, and this is why, Alani showing up is an issue. You weren't there for your little sister and
you're
your
not there.
nephew.
You're
You're
not
not
there.
there. You're living your life. And when you say I'm being, oh, they're writing me up, no, you're getting older. So you're getting older, they're getting older. There are things that they need, there are things that you need. That's like them saying or throwing in your face, well, you're away at school and you're not there to they never did that. They never
No.
did a reverse Uno on Morgan because they could have. Um
And here's the thing about Morgan. She kind of reminds me of my 7-year-old daughter in this way. When Santana is not here, I think Santana hopes or wishes that we were all just sitting around waiting for her to get back. Like nobody was living life until she walked out
yeah.
the door. And then when she walks back through the door, we can all resume life. And I think Morgan has the same, and this is sad because, like I said, Santana is 7. Not only is she 7, she just turned 7. So Morgan has the same mindset as Santana,
Hmm.
because I don't even think the thought of what are they doing while I'm off living my life and I'm not checking on them and I'm not making sure that, Bella has coverage for the ball, and I'm not, checking in on Easy and seeing how he's adjusting in school. Which again, you're 18, you're living your own life, but the expectation that they are also not, off living their life is insane. And I do think that makes sense in Santana's brain as a 7-year old. It should not make sense in Morgan's brain as a 18-year old. And that's my problem with her. So she goes and shows her this photo that, I mean, this video that I still don't get the point of the video. I really don't get the point of the video, sister, because she never denied what happened.
That
You
Lucas
see what
did that.
happened. So
It's that you go in even further. You're so distraught that you go and you say, I want to have family with Messiah. Um, Messiah, I'm just gonna go ahead and move in with you. My family has moved on, and I'm just like, girl, what? You got all that from a party? Literally,
did,
she
did she
goes
make
and
a decision in by book 3? I don't remember.
yeah, she
But
made a decision to. She tells him, my family has moved on. You're basically all I have. It was just Morgan
everything
being
with Morgan
Morgan.
is over the top, but I think that's a part of her personality. She is over the top, and I'm just like, okay, that is what it is.
Hmm.
So Alani takes this time. She separates from Ethic and his kids completely.
Yes.
And within that time, she's writing, she's praying, she's crying, she's talking to God. She's trying to find forgiveness in her heart. She doesn't want to give love covered in hate. She wants to love, and that's it. She's trying to reconcile her feelings with losing her child. She's still going through a lot. And it's hard for her, but she comes back, and I think it's like 3 or 4 months later, she finally shows back up. And she's like, okay, I have found it in my heart. I've prayed, I've grieved, I wrote, I cried, I talked myself into it, I talked myself out to it, I talked myself back into it. I am ready to forgive you and move on.
Hmm.
Um, but what we have isn't godly, and I need you to know God. And that's where book 3 ends. And I think that was a perfect place to end the book. I think Ethic and Alani have made tremendous strides in this book, uh peeling back layers of who they are. Ethic explaining what happened to him as a child, Alani explaining what happened to her as a child, and people thinking she's difficult and always giving up on her. Him trying to force himself back into her life and just trying to push forward, and then realizing I can't force her into forgiveness. She has to be able to forgive me on her own. Her going through the
Hmm.
process, the 3 4 month process of finding it in her heart to finally forgive him and showing back up. I feel like they have made such tremendous strides in book 3. I really do. I feel like they are knowing each other now. They are understanding each other now. Um, Morgan and Messiah, still some bullshit, still some bullshit. But hey, I don't even know
The
if they know
whole scene at
of their
the
favorite
end,
color.
the other scene, the scene at the end with Morgan and Messiah, where he's like, I gotta go beast on you, and she's taking it, and then he runs her bath, and she overhears a conversation with him, and we find out who that person is later. But I just felt like um both of them were at this point in over their head. They had unresolved things that needed to be discussed before they made plans with, especially those kind of plans with each other. My issue with Morgan and Messiah was more so making um permanent, d- making decisions that will shape their lives, knowing that there was so much that needed to be discussed. And if we could say it has a lot to do with age, we could say it has a lot to do with maturity,
And
but
trauma.
trauma. But looking back at it now, um, I think it was one of them things where you literally would have wanted them not to even exchange numbers because you just see it about to no, you just honestly see it about to
Yeah.
just explode, just hit rock bottom, and neither one of them were prepared for it. Now, I think um I read Ethic 3. And when it got to Alani's part at the end, when she went to Ethic's house, she don't showed up the Ethic house. I didn't really, it was more blah, blah, blah things. But once the Audible version came out, I think I was at work. And you can't fool, I didn't have my phone. So, moving mail. And I was forced, I'm going to say this again, forced to listen to that part, and as I'm listening to it, I'm like, damn, Alani, like, this is beautiful. Um, the words spoken by her to him. And again, that's more maturity than anything else. But the thing was scary is that Alani was only a few years older than Messiah. Her
I totally
Messiah may
understand,
have
but look,
been about 3 years apart.
and
Um,
that's another thing I can say. But you know what? I try not to be a misandrist, and I try to respect men as people. I don't know, even though I think there are differences. I try, I try. But like you said, it's not just the trauma thing because Alani has endured a lot of trauma in her life too. What I can
from the
say
beginning to the end,
from the yeah,
from the
it's not just the trauma, but I guess what I can say is that she did have Nanny. Messiah didn't have anything, but he's been with Blue for 10 years. We don't know that right now,
uh
but he's been with Blue for a very long time.
and
He
ethic for
had,
15.
hmm?
And ethic for
Yeah.
15.
So he has had people in his corner. I think, I went back and forth in my mind and I thought about it. And at the end of the day, I think the nigga just dumb. I do. I think he just slow. Um, I just, I don't know what else to say about Messiah Williams. I think he's dumb. I think he's a great
I think
character,
he
but
does dumb things. I like his character.
I think
I
he's a
just
great.
think he does things that I'm like, why Messiah? Why?
Who
But
knows?
as far as Alani, a lot that book right there, I think that last chapter in book 3 was Chef's Kiss. It was, listen, I've tried to stay away from you. I keep coming back. But I don't want what we have together to be anything but blessed by God. And she
Yeah,
gives him the ultimatum, like, either you get closer to God, or and we can work on something, or you don't, and I can go about my business. I think that was one of
beautiful.
that was beautiful. The
It was.
whole that whole chapter was beautiful. What she said to him, I'm literally like, damn, I didn't realize how powerful that part was. And then the person who read it on Audible, I mean, she was amazing. She did justice to that part. You could hear the emotion in the voice. And now, still to this day, that is literally one of my favorite parts of the series, because she's giving you an ultimatum: either you get right with God, you accept God, you change, not change a little bit. I need you to change completely. I need the way that you have been living for these past years to be a figment of your and my imagination.
Yeah,
I
I need
want
you to
us to
be a different
start from
person.
scratch. I
Yeah,
need you to be a different person, if you want to be with me. And that was one thing, but the fact that Ethic accepted her challenge, that let me know, yeah, he's sick of this shit. He really wants to be with Alani
And
because
not just for
some
himself, but for his children.
children.
For
Hmm.
his children to finally have a family, for him to finally have a woman who he feels is not a dinged up dime or whatever the fuck he called Dolce, and who has substance and who has a connection with his kids and a real
Hmm.
connection with his kids, a real connection with him, somebody who ties them all together. He wanted that. So
Yes.
that's the end of book three. I think that leaves us off in a good place for Alani and Ethic. I think they did. I think they did a lot of growing. I think that they had this was a tremendous showing for Ethic and Alani in
Hmm.
book three.
Yeah. And on top of that, it it gave them ground to grow.
Yeah,
Book three ended with you seeing this going up, and not spiraling downward. However, for Messiah and Morgan, you saw them. It's like,
we saw them.
mhm.
We saw them. We can't even say they set up a house on shaky ground. Them motherfuckers went and built a house in a volcano. Um, they went over there. They went over there and built a house right next, not even next to the. They went right at the.
In the
They built it
active
right at
volcano,
the volcano. They built a house
the active volcano.
literally.
Oh,
So
and then another thing, and as we go to book four, we'll see the spiraling. I just felt like both of them went in with lies, deception, and when I say both of them, it was things that Morgan was not honest with Messiah about, and there was things that Messiah was not honest with
up
Morgan
until this
about.
point, I don't think. I mean, I think that there's parts of herself that she is uncomfortable with that she's hiding, but I don't. I don't. Up until this part, I don't think Morgan has done anything that is. Um, I mean, the kissing the other boys probably not a good look, Morgan, or not kissing them because Bash kissed her. She did not kiss him, but up
But
until
you
this part, I don't
still
think that.
kept him around.
Yeah, she kept him around. She did keep him around. Um, but I don't think she's done anything incredibly egregious yet. I and this is the thing. I don't think that
No,
any of
he
Morgan's
did.
yeah behavior is like good. I don't think that she's endearing. I don't think that she warms my heart or draws me to her. I think that she's very bratty, very self-centered, very audacious. But I think she's still within the realms of a normal 18-year-old. So, and I think she's behaving like she any 18-year-old would in a first time relationship. So, we'll have to see how that goes going forward.
Yeah. So book four, the saga continues. We'll have that shortly. So until then, see ya.